And I can't imagine there's anything getting in the way of this right now. The people of the middle class are going to be squeezed harder and harder and harder as the world economy is taken apart piece by piece.
You're watching Silver News Daily. Subscribe for more.
The collapse isn't coming. It's already here. The Federal Reserve, once seen as the guardian of economic stability, has unleashed a tidal wave of destruction that's wiping out the middle class at breakneck speed. Everywhere you look, prices are exploding, wages are stagnating, and the dollar, the very lifeblood of the American dream, is being systematically destroyed. But while most people are frozen in fear, silver is quietly setting up for the most violent breakout we've seen in decades. Think about it. Every time the system starts to crack, silver doesn't just survive, it thrives. And this time, with debt spiraling out of control and inflation eating away at every paycheck, silver's role isn't just important, it's critical. The mainstream media won't tell you, but the truth is obvious to anyone paying attention. The Fed has lit the fuse, the middle class is the casualty, and silver is the escape hatch. Stay with me, because by the end of this, you'll understand exactly why silver isn't just another investment. It's the lifeline for what's coming next.
I want the president to stick to his guns on whatever he feels is the right thing to do. He has no conviction. It's like, I'm on one day, off one day, do this, don't do that. It's completely incoherent. I don't want to sit here and beat the guy up, I'll be honest with you, but we need some type of a coherent policy, something that is going to stick with and make it work. He talks a really, really big game. And then all of a sudden it just flips and flops the other way. And, it's just kind of crazy. I really believe, look, man, he's at the beck and call of this stock market, period, the end. He wanted to stop the bleeding. He floated out his Treasury Secretary yesterday, Scott Bessent, to talk about a potential deal with China that was close. And what did that do? Obviously, the market reacted in a positive way. No proof whatsoever that anything is even close. But again, this was a mechanism here. It's a lie, obviously a deceptive tactic to stop the bleeding here in the stock market. And I think President Trump really got hip to the fact that with regard to the Federal Reserve, the market wasn't reacting very favorably to that either, although I don't understand it, I'll be honest with you. I think the market understands that we are getting lower rates. There's no doubt about it. We are going to see further purchasing power losses of the dollar via that mechanism to a much greater degree moving forward. It's out of control, or it's in control, depending on how you want to look at it. But that's really what's happening here. They want to stop the bleeding in the market. Now, the market is going to say, okay, now that we got this issue with the China tariffs, a massive flip-flop on that one, man. And just, okay, well, it's not going to be as bad as we think. No 145% tariffs here. Now, the market wants something. The market wants to see action. I can say this, if the market doesn't get it, we can expect the downtrend to resume. There's no doubt about it. Even with the Fed, when they start getting in here and cutting rates, which is
For years, the Federal Reserve has operated under the illusion of control, printing trillions of dollars and slashing interest rates to near zero, all while pretending there would be no consequences. But behind the curtain, the damage has been staggering. Every dollar printed out of thin air has stolen value from the dollar sitting in your pocket, your savings, your retirement. And now, the bill is coming due. The Fed's relentless money printing didn't just stimulate the economy, it addicted it. And now the withdrawal symptoms are kicking in with a vengeance. We're witnessing the slow-motion death of the dollar, orchestrated by the very institution tasked with protecting it. And as faith in fiat currencies crumbles, the world is starting to realize that tangible assets like silver aren't just smart, they're absolutely essential. This isn't a conspiracy theory or a fringe opinion, it's simple math. You cannot print trillions forever without setting the stage for a monumental collapse. And while the Fed insists everything is fine, the smart money knows better. The real story is playing out quietly, hidden behind Wall Street headlines and political spin, but it's unmistakable if you know where to look. The Fed has declared war on the dollar, and the middle class is caught right in the crossfire.
course, their ultimate goal. Every central bank has the same goal, to inflate by any mechanism they possibly can, especially when you have a sitting president saying, hey, you know what, we need lower rates. I mean, nothing can make a central banker happier than that. Nothing on this planet, off this planet, under the ocean, or in outer space can possibly make a central banker happier than hearing from a sitting president that we need lower rates, because he won't say what that really means is a loss of purchasing power, a wipeout for the middle class here. I mean, the reason why the world economy, U.S. included, is in the spot we're in very clearly is because of the fact that we have artificially suppressed rates since the meltdown of '08 here. I mean, look, man, in finance and economics, there are two, maybe three, but I'll outline two golden rules, and these are fundamental facts. And I want everyone to just do their own research on this. And to have a strong economy, you need a strong currency. Does that sound right to you and everybody else listening? Yeah, it sounds right because it is right. And then number two, to have a strong currency, in this case the dollar, you need a corresponding rate of interest high enough to support the currency. But I mean, these are literally two fundamental truths that are unwavering. But what are we getting? Artificially suppressed rates, currency purchasing power destruction, not just here, but around the entire world. And so what happens is this mechanism is a wrecking machine on a massive scale for the economy, for the middle class, small businesses. I mean, we just heard, was it yesterday or the day before? I can't even remember. U.S. small businesses, because of their input costs, because of the dollar that is losing purchasing power, they can't survive. There's no mystery here as to why this is occurring. And the mechanism is only going to get worse, more pressure on small businesses here, on the middle class here. And again, it's a mechanism to destroy the economy, only to issue in a completely new system. That's what this is all about. They want us on our knees here, buddy. They want us on our knees, and they want people dependent on the current system so they can pull the plug at one point and say, this is what we got for you.
Most people think of inflation as just a mild annoyance, something that makes groceries and gas a little more expensive. But that's exactly what they want you to believe. The truth is far more sinister. Inflation is the perfect weapon, a hidden tax that silently drains the wealth of the middle class without a single vote being cast. Every time the Fed floods the system with new dollars, the value of every existing dollar shrinks. It's financial theft on a national scale, and it's happening right under our noses. While billionaires see their asset prices soar and the wealthy grow even richer, regular people are left picking up the pieces. Their savings buy less, their paychecks stretch thinner, and their dreams of home ownership, retirement, or even basic security slip further and further away. This isn't a flaw in the system. It is the system. The elites inflate their assets while the rest are bled dry. And if you think this is accidental, think again. Inflation is how the government and central banks fund their endless spending sprees without having to raise obvious taxes. But now, the cost is becoming too big to hide. Everywhere you look, the signs are there. Skyrocketing rent, soaring food prices, impossible healthcare costs. The middle class isn't just under pressure, it's being systematically dismantled. And as this silent war wages on, those who see through the lies are turning to the only protection left: real, tangible assets that central banks can't print into oblivion. And silver is leading that charge.
This is exactly what we're seeing. I put this out this morning in my newsletter. Okay. Who's pulling the strings? Can you see that? Or is it backwards to you?
No, that's right.
Yeah. I did a whole breakdown of how the system works, who's pulling the strings, a full breakdown of the global control system. I name everyone here, man. This is probably going to get me in a lot of trouble. I'm going to tell you right now. I name the families, the cartels, who's behind this entire thing. And I actually talk about the ultimate entity who's actually in control of this entire thing. So I'm going to urge people, everyone here that wants this, just subscribe to my newsletter. It's 100% free. I walk people through this whole thing now. The world is not run by presidents, kings, queens, dictators, or monarchs. There's a whole hierarchy, a whole system in place, a shadow system that feeds scripts. Why is it that, for example, and we could look back on any world leader, but since we do have Donald Trump here as president of the United States, why do people believe he looks at one teleprompter and then looks at the other teleprompter? He has to say what is being shown to him. And then if he deviates from that, you can see the confusion sometimes in some of his interviews. He's like, it's not that he's stupid. And a lot of people think that it's some kind of an issue with his mentality. No, I believe that he's trying to reconcile what is being told to say than what maybe he really wants to say. I don't know, but there are no elections. This whole thing is a setup. Everything is about control. The whole system is being taken apart deliberately, and that's just the way it's going, unfortunately. Now, I really believe that in a lot of my work, and especially this one here that I just did, it really should make it simple to understand who's really pulling the strings here, why they are pulling the strings. That's the goals they're working towards. And look, man, this doesn't mean that we're powerless. There's billions of us here that can stand in opposition to what.
Gold has had its moment in the sun, breaking records and capturing headlines, but now something strange is happening. The momentum is slowing. Gold's massive run has started to lose steam, and investors are quietly shifting their gaze to a new opportunity: silver. And it's not just a matter of preference, it's a matter of timing. Historically, silver lags behind gold's initial surge. But when it catches up, it doesn't just match gold's gains, it crushes them. We've seen this pattern before, during every major financial upheaval. First, gold leads the way, setting off alarm bells in the mainstream. Then, once the public wakes up, silver slingshots past everything else, delivering returns so explosive that latecomers are left in disbelief. Today, the setup is even more extreme. Gold is sitting near all-time highs, signaling that fear and distrust are dominating the markets. But silver? Silver is still sitting at a fraction of its historic highs, heavily undervalued, overlooked, and loaded with potential energy. Smart investors know that when gold starts to tire, silver steps up with a vengeance. And this time, with industrial demand booming and supply chains breaking down, silver isn't just catching up. It's primed to outperform in a way we haven't seen in decades. The stage is set, the trap is baited, and when silver finally springs forward, the window to act will slam shut almost overnight.
It's happening. We just have to unify. We got to come together and start to speak with one voice. The problem is there are so many people that have been so indoctrinated, brainwashed, which is, of course, the backbone of their control system, of those that actually do pull the strings. People can't snap out of it. They're unable to do it. And it's a real shame because if, in fact, we could get more of those people on our side to really get what's going on, then we really could make a difference. And I still think we can. If we join forces, let's see the people that follow your work and mine, we're strong enough right now to punch a hole through this. I am certain of that. You and I have been around a long time. And each of us has a pretty decent sized following. If we could unify these people, let them speak with one voice, louder, and get this work out there, let people hear this kind of stuff, I really feel that we could punch a hole through the system and get more people to understand why they're being eliminated. This is an extermination. This is an extinction level event. And unfortunately, the system is being deconstructed piece by piece, methodically. It's been going on for, centuries, actually, maybe even longer than that. Or the mechanism of control, let's just call it what it is. It's diabolic, and it really preys on people's mentality because of their disconnect from actual faith or the source. It's really what it comes down to, and it's unfortunate. I've been trying to enlighten people more and more about this stuff, and my work has always been kind of like that. I've been calling these things not human for a very, very long time. I pointed my fingers at who the real controlling bodies are for a very, very long time, and I always kind of used to sneak this stuff into my work, but now I'm kind of really speaking more about it.
While most people still think of silver as just a precious metal for jewelry and coins, the real story playing out right now is industrial demand, and it's about to send shockwaves through the market. Silver isn't just valuable because it's rare. It's essential. It's the single most conductive metal on Earth, and that makes it irreplaceable for the technologies driving the future. Solar panels, electric vehicles, 5G networks, medical devices, all of them rely on silver. And demand from these industries isn't just growing, it's exploding. Governments around the world are pouring billions into green energy and infrastructure projects, creating a relentless and accelerating appetite for silver. Solar panel production alone is gobbling up more silver than ever before, and projections show that this trend isn't slowing, It's speeding up. Meanwhile, the electric vehicle revolution is only just getting started, and each EV requires significantly more silver than a traditional combustion engine car. It's a one-way street: more tech, more demand, less available silver. And while industrial demand surges higher and higher, global mining production has struggled to keep up, creating the perfect storm for a historic supply crunch. This isn't speculation. It's simple math. And when the tipping point comes, silver's price won't just rise. It will launch. Those who see the Industrial Revolution's hidden dependency on silver understand one critical truth: the future runs on silver, and the future is already here.
Oh, it's, look, the pressure's going to they're going to keep getting squeezed harder and harder just to make ends meet. People don't understand what's happening to them or why. They were looking for some kind of a savior deity in Donald Trump, a guy here who has an alignment not with we the people. It talks a really good game, but look at the people he surrounded himself with. All these people have their own best interest in mind. It's an incredible thing to see how people very rarely act in their own best interest here. Again, it's all a psyop. People were told one thing, they get something else, and they still support it until the very, very end, until they themselves lose it all. And even then, they don't understand what's going on, and it's part of the game that it's ancient that's being played on people right now. It's a brainwashing. It's worse than that. It's a spiritual dispossession or a possession. I don't know what it is. Who they are has been replaced with some other type of entity, and they just go along with it. And there were people like you and me and the people that follow our work, for the most part, who can see straight through it. It's too easy. But we're not going to see this change. We're going to see, if things remain the way they are, and I can't imagine there's anything getting in the way of this right now, the people of the middle class are going to be squeezed harder and harder and harder as the world economy is taken apart piece by piece. And then when it really hits a fever pitch here, again, what this really comes down to is what the IMF warned about just yesterday. The financial system is breaking down. And you see, these entities, like the IMF and like the president, they have to tell you what they're going to do before they do it. It's their playbook. It goes back thousands and thousands of years, but people don't hear it. They hear something else. It's kind of interesting. So what we're eventually walking right into, obviously, is a locking up of the system, which I've spoken about forever here. The liquidity, we are in a full-blown liquidity crisis on an epic scale, and every manner of everything is being utilized to keep the system fueled with more liquidity in the form of debt being currency as well, and the central banks and the Fed's buying it all. The central banks, that's their goal, to own it all, buy it all, of course. So that's why we're in this new war in Yemen, which gets no coverage whatsoever on the mainstream media. You're not allowed to know that. People are not allowed to know that right now we're going on, 6 weeks, 24/7 of a new war in Yemen, how it was sold to us in this initially. Oh, this is about terrorism, it's about shipping lanes, has nothing to do with it. It's all about pulling cash into the now. It's allowing the Fed to inflate, because war, the propagation of war, the buildup to war, generates a greater need for more borrowed dollars than any other human endeavor on this earth, or unhuman endeavor on this earth as well. And they're going to keep doing this. And the reason why President Trump is screaming from rooftops why we need low rates, low rates, is because, again,
even as silver demand races higher, the mining industry is facing a brutal reality. It simply cannot keep up. Global silver production has been declining year after year, squeezed by depleting ore grades, skyrocketing extraction costs, and regulatory roadblocks that slow down new projects. Silver isn't found in convenient standalone deposits like gold. Most of it is a byproduct of mining for other metals like copper, zinc, and lead. That means even when silver demand soars, mining output can't just ramp up to meet it. It's locked into the production cycles of other commodities. And the situation is even more dire when you consider that major silver mines around the world are aging out, producing less and less each year, while new discoveries are few and far between. It's the perfect setup for a supply shock, one that no amount of money printing or policy intervention can fix. Unlike dollars, you can't just conjure more silver into existence. It has to be pulled out of the ground, and that takes time, investment, and resources that are increasingly in short supply. The result is inevitable: a widening gap between supply and demand that will ignite prices like gasoline on a fire. We are staring down the barrel of a historic shortage at the exact moment when a global demand is preparing to explode. And when the market finally wakes up to the fact that there isn't enough silver to go around, the scramble for physical ounces will make today's prices look laughably cheap.
Allows the Fed to inflate. The Fed can't just they have to get into the markets. They create currency out of nothing. They get into the debt market. They buy it all with the units of debt they're issuing to everyone, and they get stronger. Again, it's an incredible thing to see here. There are still people locked in the delusion that President Trump is going to end the Fed. President Trump could end the Fed right now today. All he needs to do is enforce the Gold Reserve Act of 1934, which is put there in place so a president can monetize gold, revalue it at whatever he sees fit, back the dollar with it, and then we win. President Trump would give the biggest gift to the world by doing this, because we could take down the Federal Reserve, and we need someone like this to do it, someone in power to do it. We'll take down the entire system, but that's not what he's looking to do. He's empowering the Fed with more war, more reasons to borrow cash, and now screaming from rooftops to cut rates, which means currency purchasing power destruction. It's amazing, really is. And going back to it, it's devilism. That's all I have to say on the massive scale. And people are living their own hell. We're supposed to live in heaven. Well, we're not. I am, and I think you probably are too. But most people are living in their own self-induced hell, and they can't see a way out of it. But the truth is, there's so many solutions to this. Not only the Gold Reserve Act of 1934, but we could turn this all around many other ways. I mean, that would do it immediately, and we could end the Fed today via executive order reinstituting the Gold Reserve Act of 1934. But that's not going to happen. So what we can count on happen is exploding debts and deficits on a scale that we're not going to believe. Really, people, their heads are going to spin around like The Exorcist or something along those lines. They have no idea what's coming. People thought this was going to shrink. Doge was going to change everything. Oh, by the way, as you probably heard, Elon Musk is now stepping down from Doge. I think it comes into effect, I think, a month from today. How did you like all those arrests? How did you like all those clawbacks of funds that we got? How did you like all those people that were held to account? Zero. Just like, I don't know if you said it specifically, but I told people that we would not see a single anything. Oh, but Greg, you have to wait. Wait for what? It's not going to happen. They can wait from here till kingdom come.
Right now, silver is dancing around one of the most critical price levels in its recent history, $33 an ounce. To the casual observer, it might seem like just another number, but for those who understand the dynamics of the silver market, it's a flashing neon sign. $33 isn't just a resistance level, it's a magnet pulling silver into a whole new trading range. Every time silver approaches this level, we see a battle between the forces trying to suppress the price and the overwhelming demand from buyers who know what's coming. It's no coincidence that silver keeps gravitating back to this point despite volatility, dollar strength, and short-term market jitters. This is a classic sign of building pressure beneath the surface. Like a dam straining against a rising flood, it can only hold for so long. And once that barrier is broken decisively, the move upward will not be slow or orderly. It will be explosive, catching most investors completely off guard. The $33 line represents more than just technical resistance. It's psychological resistance. It's the point where fear turns into panic buying, where sideline money comes rushing in, and where institutional players who have been quietly accumulating finally go public. Every dip below this level is being eaten up faster and faster, showing that the market's appetite for silver is growing by the day. The longer we hover here, the bigger the eventual breakout will be. And when it happens, hesitation will be punished. Silver doesn't tiptoe through resistance, it smashes through it.
Well, what a run we've had here with gold. It's been epic. It's out of control or in control, however you want to look at it. But people realize what's going on. They're not that stupid. Personally, I think we need to see a little pullback here. Maybe we're going to get one, and then we're going to see a much bigger leg high. But look, I don't even think about this stuff for the most part. My take on this. We're holding these things, gold and silver. These are real money. They're insurance policies against the system. It's how we bet against it. What I've been saying to people for 1,000 years, it seems like to me, realizing how, look, cash moves through these markets in relatively predictive patterns. It really, really does. And if we understand that eventually we're going to get a locking up of the system where the entire credit markets are going to implode on themselves, cash is just going to move from one set of assets into another. It's very, very simple. Once this happens here, what we're going to initially see is a spiking in bond yields. People aren't going to believe. Then it's going to go no bid. It's going to go no bid. We're going to see a collapse of the world stock markets so rapidly that people's heads are going to spin around. They're not going to know what to do with themselves. And then we're going to see, first of all, everything will be selling off at the same time. Initially, when you get a meltdown like this, and this is going to be the meltdown of all time, everything will drop at first. Everything, including commodity prices. The baby gets thrown out with the bathwater. And then we will see this, again, cash move from one reality into another reality, and it's going to go into commodities, the most suppressed assets in the world. My favorite still remains silver. You know that probably. Then it's my second favorite. It's going to be gold. And platinum, palladium would rank, like I'd say, a 3. But commodities across the board are going to skyrocket because, again, these are real things. And as the currency, the debt dissolves, there's going to be a few weeks here when the system, because the lockup is deliberate, and they're going to push us into this because they want, and they're going to do it at a time of maximum effect when people are there at their most vulnerable to get the greatest outcry, to get people to accept anything that they can throw at them, and it's going to be a system, obviously, of maximum control. I mean, I outlined it whole. I mean, I could just read to you what I just put out today. I mean, basically, what this is going to come down to, it's really not hard to understand here. Let's talk about this here. Let me see where I put this. So there's so much to this, man. But
as trust in traditional financial systems crumbles, a global wave of investors is making a decisive move, and silver bullion is at the center of it. From Wall Street to Kuwait City, from small private buyers to large investment firms, the scramble for physical silver is accelerating like never before. In Kuwait alone, demand for silver bullion has surged to record levels as investors, priced out of gold by its astronomical rise, turn to silver as the more accessible and more explosive alternative. It's not just a regional phenomenon. Around the world, silver bars, coins, and even industrial stockpiles are being snapped up at a pace that few anticipated. And this isn't the fast money crowd chasing a quick flip. This is serious money looking for protection, looking for tangible assets that central banks and governments cannot print into oblivion. Physical silver is being bought with a long-term view, with investors preparing to hold for years, knowing that what's coming isn't a temporary inflationary blip. It's a fundamental reset of the global monetary order. Even the average citizen is waking up, realizing that a few ounces of silver might be the only thing standing between them and financial ruin. And while retail investors scramble for what little is available, the big players are moving quietly but aggressively, hoarding tons of silver behind closed doors. By the time the headlines catch up and the public panic-buying frenzy starts, the easy opportunities will be gone. The world is shifting back to hard assets, and silver is becoming the lifeboat of choice for those who refuse to go down with a sinking fiat system.
Obviously, the end game here is a central bank digital currency with programmable money. We'll track and trace every transaction, and we'll not even own our money. We're going to license it from the system. Social credit scores, of course, tied to behavior, all vaccination status, political allegiance, digital IDs, and if you don't comply, no access to food, travel, healthcare, whatever it might be here. AI policing, cameras with facial recognition, predictive behavior monitoring. You can imagine a global emergency justification for whatever they got. But again, we are not powerless. In fact, that's how I end this off. I wrote to my pride. I call my followers lines here. I said, together we can pull out of the system, own assets like gold and silver outside their control, land, gold, silver, crypto, which I believe is outside their system to a certain degree, but not completely. Okay. But I just put it in here. Refuse these digital IDs. Fight it at the local level before it gets rolled out. Speak truth because silence is compliance. We all know that. Return to the source, the Most High. I've been talking about this a lot lately. It's our refuge, our clarity. People need to be prepared to lead. People will follow our work here. The confused out there is going to need voices going to help them get through this here. We all have heard this one. The meek shall inherit the earth because they see through the illusion. And that's us, man. I think it's you and me. It's the people that are able to see through all this. It's too obvious. It's so obvious to me now that I can't believe that there is still anyone who can't see it yet. But I think people are turning around. I really do. I have a lot of people writing to me, especially as of late. I'd say over the past maybe month, say, wow, Greg, I really do. I used to think you were nuts. I unsubscribed to you. Now I'm back because I see what you're saying. It's all unfolding and it's real. So this is what I'm hoping for. I really do feel like my goal and your goal here is to make a positive difference in the world. I don't want to change anyone's mind. I don't. I want people to think for themselves just like you do. It's not too much to ask people to do. It seems like a lot because people, they've been so indoctrinated, so programmed, they can't do it. But again, I think that their biggest thing that they're missing here is reconnect with the source. I've been telling this to people every day, and a whole new world will open up for you.
As silver flirts with breakout levels, there's one thing you can count on: volatility. Violent price swings are not a sign of weakness. They're part of the playbook. Every sharp pullback, every gut-wrenching drop is carefully designed to do one thing: shake out the weak hands. It's during these chaotic moments that retail investors panic, dump their holdings at a loss, and swear off silver forever. Meanwhile, the smart money, the institutions, the billionaires, the insiders, they're quietly accumulating more at bargain prices. History has shown us this pattern over and over again. During every major silver bull run, massive dips along the way weren't signals to run. They were the final clearance sales before liftoff. Right now, we're seeing the same psychological warfare play out. A $2 drop here, a $3 crash there, designed to make you question everything just before the real explosion begins. But here's the reality: the underlying fundamentals have not changed. In fact, with every shakeout, the foundation for silver's next move gets even stronger. Supplies get tighter, industrial demand keeps climbing, investment demand keeps rising, and the weak hands selling in fear today will be the ones looking back in regret when silver rockets past 40, 50, even higher. The volatility is not your enemy, it's your opportunity, but only for those who can hold steady while others are losing their nerve. Because when silver finally breaks free from this churn, the speed and violence of the move will leave no time to react. You'll either already be positioned, or you'll be left behind.
I mean, it's the key. It's the key to this entire thing. We're not each other's enemies. They want us to think we are. That's why we are a conquered people. Here in the United States especially, why certain puppets are selected to be the mouthpieces to represent a particular type of people, and only that type of person that believes a specific way. This isn't the way that we were told to believe here. If you look through the garbage, the nonsense, the cover-ups, the fake belief systems here. If we look back, let's say, on how Yeshua wanted us actually to, look at the world and people. I mean, we could spend hours on this, man. I mean, don't even get me started. But everything is contrary to what we've been taught to believe, even from indoctrination of particular faiths, and it's all a method of control. And they want to suck us dry. So we got to disconnect from that, reconnect with the source, reconnect with each other, understanding again that we need each other. We all come from the same Father. We all have that connection. That's our strength. It lies in that, not in these demigods that we have now. And people, look, I don't know about you, but I have people write to me every day: Greg, you don't understand that Trump is the second coming. I'm like, really? This is the guy that you believe is the second coming of Christ? This is it? That tells me how indoctrinated they are. And I hear this every day, and it's getting less and less and less. But initially, it was epic. And I was not initially even against Trump at all. I believe he has done some good. The best thing he's done is lock up the borders. I think we needed to secure the borders, but everything else he's done, nothing has been helpful whatsoever at all. And there's more lies, more deceptions, more look here, more distraction. It's an incredible thing. So we know where his alignment is. They always reveal themselves to us. We've been warned. We have a book. I think we all know the book I'm talking about. It speaks of this clearly, what we're seeing here. And people still, they go to their churches, their synagogues, wherever they go, and they still can't recognize the incarnation. Honestly, is that what this has come down to? Because that's pretty pathetic. I think if Christ were to return today, he would be crucified again because people wouldn't even be able to recognize. It's a crazy thing, but that's how blind people have become.
The path ahead for silver is becoming clearer by the day, and it's pointing straight to $40 and then to $50. Analysts who understand the undercurrents of this market aren't throwing out these numbers as wild guesses. They're looking at hard data. Silver's technical setup, combined with relentless industrial demand and a crumbling fiat system, is creating a perfect recipe for liftoff. Breaking through $33 with conviction will act as the trigger, unleashing a surge of buying pressure unlike anything we've seen in years. From there, $40 becomes the first major checkpoint, a level that could be hit rapidly once the dam bursts. But it doesn't stop there. Momentum, fear of missing out, and the mechanical unwinding of decades of price suppression could easily push silver toward $50 by the end of the year. Some believe it could happen even sooner. Remember, silver moves differently than gold. It's faster, more violent, and when it runs hard. Past silver bull markets show that once critical resistance levels are broken, silver doesn't climb. It launches. And with gold already trading at historic highs, silver's massive undervaluation becomes impossible for serious investors to ignore. The setup is here, the catalysts are here, and the timeline is shorter than most people realize. $40 is not a dream. It's the next logical step. And from there, $50 is just a heartbeat away. Those who are positioned now will ride the wave. Those who hesitate will be chasing after a moving train, paying higher and higher prices as the window slams shut.
All of it is, dude. I mean, I'm so happy that to hear what come out of your mouth, and I'm hearing more of this from more and more people. They're kept this way on purpose. A state of confusion, disillusion, disenchantment. They see their hopes, their dreams being dissolved. They feel like something is wrong, and they know it in their heart and in their spirit. But they can't still. They're still having a hard time understanding what it's from. And it's pretty obvious to me, and it seems like to you just from hearing what you said here. But again, man, like you and I have been talking about this stuff for it seems like 1,000 years, man. I'm proud to know you. I'm glad to know you, and the people that follow work, they get it. I just wish we had more. I really, really do. More people that understood what's actually going on. And we do. We have, look, man, this, in many ways, this is a natural selection that's going on. I've been saying this for 1,000 years, and some people are just so blind, and no matter what they do, they can't snap out of it. And these are the people I really want to get through to. But unfortunately, we can't and we won't. So we have to just do what we can to the best of our ability. Continue pushing on, continue pushing that. And again, I don't want to change anyone's mind. I want people are going to listen to this. Some people are going to ridicule this kind of talk. Of course they are, because they've been indoctrinated. They can't see it. And it's astonishing to me, but I guess what else do you expect in this Babylon system, right?
The economic collapse isn't a far-off warning anymore. It's here. The middle class is being crushed under the weight of inflation, a crumbling dollar, and reckless central bank policies. But while most are paralyzed by fear or lulled to sleep by empty promises, a few are positioning themselves for survival and for opportunity. Silver is no longer just a hedge against uncertainty. It's becoming the financial lifeboat that could make the difference between losing everything and weathering the storm ahead. The setup is done. The fuse is lit. And when the explosion happens, it won't be gradual. It will be sudden, violent, and irreversible. Don't wait for permission from the media. Don't wait for the masses to catch on. The time to act is before the headlines start screaming. If you want to stay ahead of the curve and secure your future, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more insights like this. And remember, this is not financial advice. Always speak to a qualified professional before making any investment decisions.